What was that? Was it like a phone commercial from back in the day? Can you hear me now? There's nobody in here, so of course nobody can hear me. I'll wait till some people hop on and then I'll ask again. We'll just center. I get really irritated by technical difficulties and stuff like this. This is something that I'm working on. So we're going to see if anybody hops on. All of you on the replay, I love you. If this is the first episode of this that people are catching on the replay, if you didn't watch the first part, I was already going off about the timeline split and all of that. I'm really trying not to get irritated right now, you guys. I'm like PMSing early this month. That may be too much information for some of the men on here, but honestly, like it's just out of control. Like I'm doing my best. Oh my God. Oh, fuck. It's okay. We're here. We show up no matter what, right? That's like the key with everything. Just show up. And a lot of us probably feel like that's a lot of what we're doing in life right now is just showing up. Showing up as the hot mess that we are. This is why I'm trying not to let myself get too hopeful about what could be coming much faster than we realize. Like usually you don't want something to come faster. In this case, when we're talking about ascension, we really do because like, I think a lot of us are just exhausted at this point. I know I am. I'm just like, I just want to rest for months, right? If I could just unplug from the world for like 6 months, I would be so happy right now. I feel like I've been a human doing for so long. I just want to be a human being for a little while. You guys know what I mean? I'm sure you know what I mean. So, yeah, we're talking about the timeline splits. We're talking about December. We're talking about this buildup of energy here and the major bifurcations that we've had up until this point. This is kind of, and no, D, I don't think PMS is just for women. There's a special kind of PMS. It's just for women, but men have their own cycles, I think, and that's not very well researched, but that's a whole different topic right there. Actually, I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb while I'm thinking about it, just to try to minimize all the distractions going on here. Yeah, Ty says I've been resting a lot. That's good. You know, I've been resting as much as my life allows. And it's been really, really beautiful when I have. Sometimes it's like when you give yourself those little bits of space, you can feel the regenerative energy, right? You can feel the light codes coming in. You can feel like I set that intention with my higher self when I get those opportunities, especially when I get the opportunity to take a nap, which is like so sacred and so appreciated. I set that intention with my higher self to infuse me with healing energy, to, you know, activate my cells, to gently bring healing through. And I can really feel it. I can really feel it. So it's really important for us to be setting that time out, to be setting that time aside, because like we said, this is one of the biggest bifurcation points that we've experienced since 2020, 2021. My ears are ringing like crazy now. So some of the hype is real. I don't think this is going to be the major ascension point. I think there may be a wave of people who this is their ascension window. Because like I said, and there's a lot of different ways that people look at this, but the way that I have truly been feeling it is that there is an infinite number of Earths that exist. It's just we're aligning with a different one. Some of us are aligning with a different one. And something that was really interesting, I love Elizabeth April. I know some of you guys on here watch her too. I did. I know it's good not to clog yourself up with too many other people's opinions and channelings when you are a channeler. But I have a few that I do like to watch. And she had a really interesting take on the energies of this that really inspired me to kind of dig deeper with everyone and see what we could get in that video, talking about when this switch does happen, how it's going to feel like there's going to be people who are kind of in the middle vibration, who aren't really fully aligned with the 5D vibration, but they're not fully aligned with the 3D either. They're kind of like sitting in between. And this is a smaller and smaller group, but it is a group that are there. She said that she was getting that they may be the only ones that remember the old Earth essentially dying off through some type of catastrophe, whether it's nuclear war, whether it's these different things. They're going to be the only ones that remember, kind of like the Mandela effect. And most people aren't going to remember at all. So I found that all to be very, very fascinating. And another interesting thing that she said was that the people in our lives before will still be there, but the people who are aligned with the old Earth frequency will be more like non-player characters. And for people who don't know what that is, Dolores Cannon talked about this in her books. And it's essentially like a body that's animated, but it doesn't really have a soul. So they're essentially like, people look at them as like part of the simulation that's just there to trigger you or be like a background energy. You know what I mean? And I kind of err on the side of like, I think that most beings that inhabit this planet have some sort of life force energy. It just might not be a very conscious part of their energy, which was kind of like what April was saying. Elizabeth April was saying she felt. So, but I thought that was fascinating. So I just wanted to share a couple tidbits with you of that before we get into what Spirit has to say specifically for us, because I think they're interesting, and you can see what do you resonate with, what do you not resonate with. Like I said, I see it as like literally just different versions of Earth that we are aligning our energy and our frequency with, that all already exist, right? Everything already exists. Everything is, right? We live in this quantum world where everything's existing in an eternal now, right? So it's already there. It's just our frequency becomes a greater match to it. So, and there's a lot of contradictions in this. Like, that's the thing when you start really looking at spirituality and the quantum world and you start kind of delving into these things, one thing that you really begin to notice is that everything is a paradox, right? There's so many truths, so many things can be truth all at once. It's really a giant mind fuck when you think about it. And so as we continue down this road, there's going to be some of the energy. You know what I mean? Because like in one perspective, all these Earths already exist. From another perspective, there is sort of like a splitting that is happening. And I think it's because we are consciously present here and where we're moving is so different in so many respects that there is going to be some type of, it is going to feel like moving into a new world. For many, there is going to be some type of simulation, right? The simulation within the simulation of this apocalyptic energy that switches us from one Earth to the other. I have a feeling, even though in a lot of ways I'm anchored into the 5D, I exist in that in-between space quite more frequently than honestly I probably should admit on here. So I almost wonder if I'm going to be one of those ones that remembers that, like the old and what happened and then that we're here now. So that's all going to be really fascinating. That actually really resonated with me as a possibility. Now, is this going to occur this month or next month, technically, because we're right at the tail end of November as I'm recording this, in December? Like I said, I don't think so. What I'm feeling right now is that this is going to be, like we said, one of those major bifurcation points. Think about 2020, 21. All right, 2012, maybe a lot of people don't. Maybe you remember back then, maybe you don't. That was when I was first getting clean from drugs. And so my entire reality shifted quite powerfully between 11/11/11, which was my clean date, and, the beginning of 2012. So for me, it was stepping into a brand new reality, a brand new paradigm. I don't know what it was like for everybody else. All right, but 2020, 2021 is pretty fresh in everybody's mind. So if we look at that, we can really see how separated the realities became at that major bifurcation point. That's the same kind of energy that I'm sensing we're going to be feeling as we move into this next one this December, is when we move into 2026, that divide is going to feel bigger. I do think we will still be able to perceive of each other, or at least some of us will. And some of you may have had this experience already. This experience where you're around people and it's almost like they don't even see you or recognize that you're there. Or on the contrary, sometimes it's like you get this beautiful reaction. It's like everybody is just staring at you. It's like one or the other. Let me know if you guys can relate to either one of those energies. that one of not being recognized or being recognized, like overly recognized, that's going to depend on who we're interacting with, whether it's somebody who is more anchored in the old reality or somebody who is more anchored in the new reality. That is going to be more apparent. The difference in the lives, the reality, the way that people are functioning, like that is going to become more extreme as well as we move into 2026. And then it's where I don't know what the trajectory is going to look like as we continue moving forward from there. But 2026 to 2034, that's the ascension window. That's the main, it's kind of like if you look at it like if you buy tickets to a show, right? We've been in the opening act. The opening act kind of started, we'll say the first opening act started in 2012. Right. And they were playing for a while and, you know, they were all right, like a lot of opening acts are, but not maybe anything too thrilling unless you get really lucky. Right. A lot of times it's just like, yeah, you know, they're all right. And then 2020, 2021, the next band took the stage. And that one really started amping up. That's the one that started getting us ready for the main event. Right. People, the energy starts rising. We all start paying more attention. Maybe some people are looking up like, who is this band, you know, or this, you know what I mean? So that's kind of the energy we've been in. 2026 to 2034 is the main event. All right. This is where the band who we came to see takes the stage and the performance just amplifies energy as we continue to go. So, like I said, in the first part of this, before I got booted off and we had to reconnect and do all that fun stuff, I was talking about, and now I already, 2027 and 2034 as major landmarks for me within this energy. Let's see, is there anything else that Spirit wants to add surrounding this? No, not right now. Actually, Spirit wants me to talk about the full moon and the new moon and the energies that we're going to have in December. So that's how we're going to kind of lead into this. Before I get going with that, I just want to say hello to everyone in the chat. Yeah, Annika is not able to be with us, at least for the beginning. Maybe she'll catch the end. Hello, Dark Crypto. Hello, yeah. We'll still say hello, Sheldon. Let's see. Hello, Seawork. Thank you. Hello, Michael. I don't know. Are my tattoos trendy? I mean, I guess we could say so right now. They're trendy now, maybe. I don't know if they were all as trendy when I got them. That wasn't necessarily the aim, but that's okay. We'll go. We'll take it. Michael, let it be 2026. We're almost there, brother. We are almost there. Hello. I'm so happy you're with us from Australia. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What time is it? You said 5:15 a.m. in Australia. Bless your heart. So let's talk about this with this new moon and full moon for a minute here. All right, and I might do a separate video on some of this energy too, but we need to talk about this a bit because this is absolutely epic. I'm so glad you're here with us. I'm so glad you made it to alive. So the new moon in Scorpio is occurring at, or sorry, not the new moon in Scorpio. I have the old heading, but I changed you guys don't even need to. Oh no, it did revert back to that. Hold on. Let me find the right one in here. Hopefully it didn't erase my chart. You know what? It doesn't even matter because I don't even need the chart for that. So the full moon in Gemini is occurring at 13 degrees of Gemini with the sun directly opposite at 13 degrees of Sagittarius. Now, what do we have sitting at 14 degrees of Sagittarius? But the great attractor. So 1 degree off, this is basically right on top. All right, the great attractor is one of the two most magnetic points of space, the other one being, of course, the Shapley attractor, the Big Daddy. So the great attractor is a gorgeous energy. This is the energy that allows us to see. Remember how I mentioned how a lot of times I say from one perspective, and we talk about the infinite number of truths existing at the same time, just like the infinite number of dimensions, of realities, of possibilities. That's the great attractor. That's the energy that the great attractor embodies. And that is the frequency that it is emitting through the sun, right? It's channeling this energy through the sun We're receiving it through the solar flares, through all of the magnificence going on with the sun right now. The moon having this direct channel to the sun is also receiving this energy. And Gemini energy is already all about the possibilities, expansion, open-mindedness, curiosity. So this is really expanding our minds, our perspectives, helping us to see things from a whole different lens, from a whole different angle. So there's going to be a lot of stimulation with this full moon. It's also in a T-square with the nodes of fate. So we have the south node in Virgo and we have the north node in Pisces. So that when we have this squaring action going on here, this is events that push us, attention that pushes us into some type of realization, some type of activation that is really bringing together this energy, this, whatever this, how do I want to say this? What's coming through is the truth that we've been resisting, the aspect of the past that we've been having difficulty letting go, which could be that entire old reality, right? The old timeline, whatever has been tethering us, there's a release here. There's also this energy that I was feeling when I was observing the geometry of this full moon last night, where it's literally like all of these past, present, future, all these different possibilities, dimensions. It's like they were all scattered as these separate things, and they're coming together, they're unifying into one trajectory, one timeline, one energy moving forward. So this is perhaps where different aspects of ourselves that were splintered into different timelines through different choices, different energies, kind of re-merge again, unify. And okay, this is so interesting. So the way that Spirit is, what Spirit's pointing me to here is the idea of destiny and fate, right? Now, there was a movie called Sliding Doors. I think I've mentioned this movie before to you all. It was a movie, who was in that? Gwyneth Paltrow. All right. And in that movie, it showed like what happened when she missed the train versus got on the train, and the two completely different lives that she led. But the end result of both was the same. So that's kind of the energy here. It's like we splintered off into all these different routes, but we're coming back to the end result. We're coming back to the point of destiny, the point of fate. That's where this energy is bringing us. And it's bringing us all on our different splintered timelines, right? Our individual timelines with all their different, I don't know what to, words are starting to fail me. So just like tap into the energy of what I'm saying. That's going to be the best way, right? We can practice some telepathy right now, okay? All of those points are converging. We're coming back to that center point. And even though we all have individual timelines, we're unifying on a collective timeline. Either the low, what we could call the lower, the old Earth timeline, or the new Earth timeline. This moon is like what's unifying all of that energy, bringing it back together and creating like this focal point. Almost like the way that you focus energy through a laser, through a pinhole. I don't know if that makes any sense. I feel like I'm not making any sense right now, but this is just kind of like the energy of what's coming through here. So we're really able to harness that power of the great attractor in order to vibrate with every atom of our being at the frequency that is necessary in order for this shift. It's kind of like in order to make this part of the shift, this part of the timeline shift, we have to be a certain frequency. Not all the time, but long enough to make the shift, to make the jump, I almost want to say. All right. They're bringing back the analogy of the on-ramp of 2025 and merging onto the highway. This is like the point where we merge, or the preparation for the point where we merge with that highest timeline, and where we all kind of unify together to make that jump. Now, What's really fascinating about this energy is not only do we have the full moon opposite the great attractor, but we have the new moon in Sagittarius conjunct the galactic center. New moon is at 28 degrees of Sagittarius. The galactic center is at 27. So once again, we're 1 degree off. 1, 1, 11. Or 1 plus 1 equals 2. If for those of you who like to play around with numbers, right? 8 plus 2 is also 10, right? Or 1 energy, and we're moving into a 1 year in 2026. So the great attractor, and then the galactic center, which is also one of these power points within the zodiac. One of these deep space pulsar points. The galactic center is technically a black hole, but it's massive. All right. The great attractor is not, it behaves like a black hole in some respects, but it's an anomaly, essentially, is what they call it. Right? It's attracting and repelling energy at the same time. It's sucking in entire galaxies. The galactic center is this first black hole, this first deep space object around which the Milky Way is sort of being rotating. All right. And then there's not necessarily a hierarchy, but it's sort of an order of energy. Galactic center, then the supergalactic center, the great attractor, and the Shapley attractor. And everything is rotating around these points. So the galactic center also gives us this higher perspective. The galactic center is really good at challenging viewpoints, challenging belief systems, showing us the different sides and different angles. It's very similar to the great attractor, except the great attractor is in some ways it's more magnetic. So there's more of an energy of magnetism when we're working with the great attractor. With the galactic center, it's opening up that perspective. So with both of these, our light bodies are being activated. Our perspectives are being opened up, right? Our frequency is being raised, and we're being prepared through this gateway of energy, which also coincides with the 12-12-12-21 gateway, right? 12-12 to 12-21. This is the major bifurcation window. While all this is happening, we also have 3i Atlas coming its closest to the Earth before it most likely passes us by, although this is not behaving like a typical comet. It is not, in fact, a comet. And if anybody wants to know what it is, check out the live stream that we did on 3i Atlas. But essentially, this is releasing, it's one of the things that we said, it's activating our DNA, 3i Atlas. It's awakening dormant codes within us, memories, past life memories, past star system memories. It's releasing density, and it is activating our heart chakras. So all of this is occurring sandwiched in between these moons, right? This moon opposite the great attractor, this moon conjunct the galactic center, and of course the winter solstice, right? On the 21st, a few days after, we have this new moon. So just take in how epic. I feel so cheesy when I use the word epic because it gets so overused, but it stands in this case. It is appropriate, okay? Just feel into how big that is. And how fascinating that aligns with these prophecies, right? The astrology lines right up with it. Right? We are being catapulted into a brand new reality. But the difference this time, and I really hope what I'm saying is true, this is what's coming through, is that it's going to look different too. It's going to feel different, and it's going to look different. Like we made that quantum leap back in 2024. We've been calibrating since then because that's how big the leap was. But a lot of us still haven't seen a lot of the evidence of that on the outside. We've had moments where we felt it, but a lot of us haven't really seen it. Some of us have, right? The more we look for it, the more we see it. That's what Spirit wants to say with a big wink. All right, you find what you look for. but we're really going to start seeing it. We're going to feel it. We're going to notice because the feeling's going to intensify first is what Spirit's saying. That feeling of flow, that feeling of being tapped in, that feeling of activation, that feeling of peace, acceptance, harmony, all the good, right? We're going to be tapping into that more. And as we tap into that more, we open the door for the material manifestations to begin surfacing. So what do we do for the rest of as we're going through all this crazy, all this madness in 2025, right? In December. We do all the things we talked about on the stream yesterday. We ground, we breathe. We anchor into our bodies. I just heard anchor into our light body, which is interesting. So let me feel into this. We talk a lot about anchoring into our physical body, and Spirit's saying yes, because the first step before we can anchor into our light body is to anchor into our physical body. So we get grounded first. We connect with our bodies first. And then we get comfortable in our bodies first, right? We practice loving our bodies, nourishing our bodies. Yoga, breath work, like we said, stretching, conscious movement, somatic movement, right? Once we get grounded into the body, we're then able to begin grounding into the light body. And yes, all of these bodies are part of us, right? But there's a difference when we're fully tapped in, fully anchored in. And that's what's happening. That's part of what's necessary. These are also the preparations for that DNA activation that Richard Rudd talks about in 2027. This is a necessary part of that process, getting anchored into our physical bodies and then our light bodies. And we're going to move through the different bodies. I think there's like 7 different bodies, most of them being energetic after the physical body, of course. So we're really going to begin that process of moving into that. And these moons are going to help with that. 3i Atlas is going to help with that. So it's just about really being present. It's not about, you don't have to be happy every single day. Right? Any of you who saw the beginning of this live stream, I'm not happy every single day. You know what I mean? Like my default setting is kind of to be a little bit of a grump, honestly. It's true. I'm many things at once, right? Like we said, the universe is a paradox. I'm a paradox. You're a paradox, I'm sure, right? I'm not like, I have moments of joy. I laugh. You know what I mean? I also have a lot of moments where I'm grumpy or I'm just like discontent with this meat suit and just like being what we're trying to do here, right? Grounding into the body. Like a lot of times I'm just like, get this thing off of me. You know what I mean? Like it's holding me back. It takes way too much care. You know what I mean? There's way too much maintenance involved in this. Yeah, but so it's not like we have to be like, oh, everything's wonderful all the time. I'm so happy. Everything's great. Yay. Look at the sun glinting off the trees. But like have those moments. You know what I mean? Allow yourself to have those moments. But know that like if you are not like that, even ever, but you are in your heart, you are practicing love and compassion for other human beings. You're doing your best to practice love and compassion for yourself. That's all you need. That's all you need. And don't resist what's trying to leave. Right? If something's trying to walk out the door, this is a metaphor, but it could be literal for some people. Don't be the one standing trying to block the doorway. Let it leave. Let them leave. Let the past go. That's one of the most important things for us to remember right now. Because the old reality is filtering itself out. Don't handcuff yourself to it. If you do, you're going to sink yourself in that lower frequency. Otherwise, you're all set. Just try to be the best human being you can be, even if you're not feeling it. Even if you're grumpy. I mean, even if you're like, oh my God, I have to wake up and brush my teeth and feed myself and do all this stuff and go to work and blah, blah, blah. First of all, reframe. I don't have to, I get to, right? Because we don't have to do any of this from one perspective, right? But yeah, you know what I mean? It's like find the gratitude in the little things that you can. Just be present and just do your best to like I hate making generalities like this, but like what wanted to come through was like just to be a good person. You know what I mean? In the sense of like being loving and kind to the best of your ability, showing up to the best of your ability, feeling the feelings that come up, opening your mind and perspective just enough. That's all it takes. That's all we really need to do. I think we overcomplicate this so much. We really, truly do. Like some people are like, you have to meditate every day for 20 minutes and you have to do this and you have to do this spell and this incantation every day or you're not going to ascend. No. Just be a decent person, you know? Just have that openness to grow and change and expand. Just have that desire and that willingness to release what's not serving you. And know that some days it's going to be harder than others. And that's okay too. None of us are expected to be perfect. Perfection and humanity do not. That's like oil and water, all right? Those two things do not go together. Being human is to be imperfect by design. So allow yourself that process. So let's see. Let's get some cards here because I really want to see if Spirit has anything to tell us. I'm being wicked nosy here about like moving forward from 2026 forward. Like what's going on here. So I want to pull from, oh, we haven't done this deck in a while. And this one. Okay. Hello, Sophie, by the way. And of course, we have beautiful Annika with us now. So great to see you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The more whole foods we can eat, the better. Yeah, root veggies are a big favorite of mine. I love root veggies. For those who don't know, root vegetables are like potatoes and beets and turnips and all of that goodness. Yeah, very grounding. And just trust what you're called to do because everyone's diet is going to look different too. You know what I mean? There's no one size fits all when it comes to any of this. There really truly isn't. Everybody has a unique genealogy, biology, energetic blueprint. You know what I mean? So don't let anybody try to tell you, like, if you don't do it this way, you're doing it wrong. There is no doing it wrong. You're either doing it or you're not. You know what I mean? Clear. If you're here watching this right now, you're doing it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be. You would have tapped off or tapped out a long time ago. And if you just popped in here, welcome. So let's see, what is Spirit going to tell us? I have this like horrible sensation that Spirit's going to mostly just focus on what we need to do right now. Spirit likes to keep me in the present. You know what I mean? But I really want to see what's coming. Just let us see what's coming. All right. I mean, we're getting something here. Spirit's saying it's going to be more gradual than what a lot of people are thinking. What people are picking up on is like we said, the power of the bifurcation, the power of the split. Like we said, the example being 2020, 2021. It literally felt like people were living in two different worlds. It's going to be like that, except more intensified. And certain people are going to be able to perceive of the other, but not everyone. Generally, if you're in the higher vibration, you'll be able to perceive of some of the lower, I hate using, it sounds so judgmental, right? But just so that we can understand what we're talking about here, right? The lower vibrational or the people in the greater density, we'll call it, the greater density. I think that we'll be able to perceive of them, but I don't think they'll be able to perceive so much of us, if that makes sense. But eventually that is going to gradually, that divide is going to get greater and greater, but it's going to happen in a way that we don't even really fully recognize. And there is going to be an event that occurs, and I'm getting 2027, 2028 really strongly. That is like a big fracture point in this energy here. And it could be, remember how I was talking about how Elizabeth April was foreseeing like the nuclear, all of those different things, or the big catastrophes? It could be something like that, maybe. Something that really creates that big divide. And I really am feeling 2027, 2028. So maybe from there on, we're going to continue this integration process, but it's going to be integrating. Like, and what I mean by that is, it's not like we're suddenly going to wake up in a land of rainbows and unicorns. They're already here. They're already here if you can perceive them. All right. I've been seeing rainbows like crazy for the past couple of years, like in everything. But it's not like we're going to wake up and we're going to be in like fairy tale land. I feel like it's going to be a transition of energy, but it's going to feel very natural. But there's going to be a certain point where only some of us are in the group that's transitioning. The other ones are transitioning the other way into something else. So it's like the energy is naturally going to just continue to go in opposite directions. And it's going to be sort of like a building in either direction. So, yeah, it's going to be, I'm telling you, 2034 is when I really feel the energy of the merge, like merging into fully whatever this new reality is. So that's what Spirit's given us, at least right now, as far as the timing goes. All right. So we have 37 Crystal Ascension. And then we have meditation. Let's see. This is speaking to the crystallization of the light body, I think. Right? We talk about this a lot. That energy of the crystalline light body, activating, expanding. And remember we talked, this was a while ago where it came through. This energy of how crystals can assist with developing the crystalline light body. Why do you think it's called the crystalline light body? Right? So working with your crystals in meditation, the crystallization of the light body. Spirit's saying, like, you know how I just said, you don't have to meditate 20 minutes a day in order to ascend? True. However, the caveat that's being thrown out here is it really is going to help. Make that time to meditate. Set out that time to be with yourself, to be with your higher self, to be with your spiritual team. And it doesn't have to be. I think I was talking earlier about how I was napping the other day and I was setting that intention to receive the healing energy from my higher self. It can be something like that. But set intentions when you meditate for healing, for whatever. It doesn't have to be anything big or anything major. Just utilize that opportunity to set intentions or to receive answers. For some reason, I'm being reminded, somebody who's going to find this needs to hear that quote, right? Prayer is talking to God, meditation is listening for the answer. If you're doing a whole lot of talking, a whole lot of praying, but you're not doing any meditating, it's going to be really difficult to receive the answer. Fire elemental, I ignite the fire within me that connects me to the divine. So we've talked before a little bit about this energy of how the earth has been reset many times through water. And this time we're receiving a reset through fire. But the reset through fire isn't just like literally the earth burning up. It's the alchemical etheric fire. So there's something to be said for that. But this also, and I hate to say things like this. I know we've had a lot of volcanic activity and things like that. There may be more coming with the fire. Right? Water and fire, we have Neptune entering Aries. Neptune represents water. Aries is represented by fire. So fires, water, more water events. There definitely could be more of that in these years leading up. But this is also about igniting your own fire. Remember, the reset through fire. But each one of us ignites our own soul flame, reignites our own individual soul flame. And then you know how we talk about all of us like little lights lighting up around the world and creating this beautiful sacred geometry around the planet? It's like that with the fire too, as each of our flame lights. It's like a flame that engulfs the whole world. Spirit's saying the greatest thing that we can do, the greatest tool at our disposal right now is our own intuition and our own wisdom. Remember, wisdom is applied knowledge. You will be receiving insights, particularly if you meditate, if you take that time to sit and listen. Are you applying those insights? That's what we need to do right now. And moving forward. And discernment on the bottom of the deck. So important. There's so much that is here to distract you right now, to try to keep pulling you back down into that fear frequency, into that selfish ego-based frequency. Don't let it. Be careful who you listen to, what you put, and who and what you put stock in. Everything, it's so fascinating, right? And I love how this is happening as Neptune is completing its transit of Pisces also. Is this energy here where, right, we talk about how this is all a dream, right? An illusion, a matrix. The walls of reality are breaking down little by little. We see this in so many ways, right? Where it's like we knew everything was illusion, but now it really shows, because you can't even tell if a video you're watching online is a real person or AI, right? There's so many versions of truth being presented to you. So many possibilities. Each one is an invitation. Do you choose to believe this? Right? Do you choose to resonate with, to align with this? So everything that you buy into, every storyline, every headline, you are choosing to align with that energy when you buy into that. So be aware of that. Be careful of that. Be discerning as you move forward. That's why the intuition, it's the only way, like your intuition is the only thing you can rely on. Because everything else, like we said, the illusion is becoming a lot more clear, but as the illusion becomes clear, it gets more confusing, right? Unless you've learned how to tap in here. And if you're still working on learning how to do that, if you're wanting to desire, or you're desiring to learn more about how to do that, please reach out to me. I'm looking forward to working with people more about that moving forward in a larger container as well. I don't want to get ahead of myself with announcements and things, but we'll just say 2026 we're going to be doing some stuff for those who are inclined to join. Right now, I do offer individual coaching sessions, energy healing sessions, all the good stuff, past life regressions. Hello, Joni. Oh, so glad you're here with us. And Diane, hello. Oh, one of the volcanoes going off. Is that in Hawaii, Diane? What do we have under that? We have wisdom from the stars. Yeah, what we just said. Within you is all the wisdom from your many lifetimes around the cosmos. We talked about how this energy is going to be reactivating. We're really going to start remembering as we move. Remember, the catchphrase for 2025 is I remember. This is when those memories really begin to activate for those that they haven't yet. As we move through this gateway of energy and we move into 2026. Yeah, healing past timelines. This is what I was trying to say also when I was talking about the energy of this full moon in Gemini coming up on the 4th, opposite the great attractor, was this energy of healing past timelines. This particularly cites Atlantis on the card, but we're looking at any past timelines. But of course, that is a major one. And we talked about this in the reading the other last week, the live stream, the energy of remembering the past so we don't repeat it. We don't have to hold on to the energy of the past, but we do need to remember. So this remembering, it's like there's a remembering of who we are that's really crystallizing as we complete 2025, but there's also this remembering of who we've been, where we've been, and what we learned as a result of that. And we're going to be able to see circumstances playing out in our lives in real time that mirror these lifetimes in Atlantis and otherwise. And we're going to get an opportunity to make a new choice. We've been experiencing these mirroring situations, but now we're going to recognize it as it's happening. And it's going to be powerful. Some of you guys, this is going to be literally like spontaneous rememberings or awakenings here. I do remember you. Hello. That we have all eyes on Earth. All of the cosmos is watching the Earth at this time and cheering us on. Greatest show on, well, I was going to say greatest show on Earth. Greatest show in the cosmos right now, right? Or at least we like to think so because we're here. It really probably is, though, honestly. Yeah, we joke about that a lot, right? Our star family watching us, just being like each year. I think it's actually so funny. I mentioned Elizabeth April earlier. I think she does like season 2025, and that's like year 2025, but like a season, like it's a TV show, because it is really. It's somebody's TV show. Where do you think the concept for reality TV came from? All right. Yes, initiation into these higher levels of consciousness. All right, so what's coming through right now is, and this has been happening, this has been going on for some time as well. This energy of each year, or different segments of each year being these different initiations through these different phases of our journey. And we talked about this at the end of the live stream last time about sort of the training that many of us are undergoing to take our positions within the new earth as those leaders of the new earth, said completely without ego. Well, nothing can ever be said without ego. I said this in the last live stream too, right? Completely, but with humility, right? These initiations, it's like they're going to be coming in segments. Each year is going to be sort of its own initiation. Some people there's going to be multiple within a year, right? Depending on your contract, how fast you chose to grow and evolve. But that energy is going to continue to pick up speed. What else are we feeling from this? Let me see. Let's do, this is a good initiation deck here. The Tarot of the Sacred Kingdom. Let's get a little more about these initiations, this energy here. Some of you who are here right now, whether live or on the replay, you have people in your life who are going through their own personal initiations right now as well. There's a message for somebody in particular. And what spirit, this could be your soulmate, twin flame, best friend. Don't count them out just yet. This doesn't mean don't hold strong boundaries. This doesn't mean compromise your own well-being for them, but don't count them out just yet. It's almost like Yes, you need to set boundaries because this person is really struggling right now. But there's an importance for you to hold hope for them within your heart. Meaning, don't write them off. Don't say, well, they're never going to get it, right? They're never going to outgrow this pattern, this behavior. There's something really powerful in you believing in the possibility that they can pass this initiation. That belief is going to help them in ways that you can't even imagine. So you may have had to distance yourself from this person, and that's okay, but don't count them out just yet. Hold that space for them within your heart and hold that vision of them in their highest possible outcome. Because they are really struggling, but they may pull through this yet. That's a very specific message for someone or a group of someone's here. Clear. It's like they're saying, you always believed in me. I just need you to believe in me a little while longer. Don't give up on me yet. Yeah, they're going through it. They've been going through it maybe for a while. But there is a possibility, even a likelihood is what I'm feeling, of a breakthrough that you didn't even see coming. But they need that energy. They need that belief from you. Like I said, even if you're not interacting with them in the physical, just that belief that they can overcome, that they can activate, awaken. It's almost like they're asleep and they're treading water. And it's so clear to you, but you've tried everything you can do to help them, to reach out a hand, to help lift them up, to help them to understand that they're asleep and they just don't get it. I'm feeling February of 2026 for someone. Like a turning point of energy there. All right. So what do we have for this initiation, these initiations? We have the Six of Pentacles. What do you want us to know about this? We have the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, so this is Spirit's kind of clarifying this a little bit too, as far as the earths go and these energies. Hi. So we have this bifurcation point, end of 2025, December 2025. And then we have like a window of sort of like a bridge period. Or kind of like a stabilization window, 2026 to 2027. And it's like a bridge period that we're moving into between sort of the decoupling of the earths and the full anchoring into the new one, if that makes any sense. Like we're entering that bridge period where we're bridging that gap. And I know it's felt like we've already been there, right? But this is going to be different because like the old period that we just came out of was like a bridge period, but it was like a bridge where we had to be more in the old energy in order to provide that bridge. Now we're going to be more in the new energy. It's like to bridge from like the next evolution of that energy to where it is that we're ultimately going. I hope that makes sense. And hello, by the way, Carly or Carl and everyone else. Somebody's learning something. Got the Strength card. Oh, and the Phoenix on the bottom of the deck. All right. Somebody's learning something here with the Page of Pentacles. You've gone searching for something. And there's this period of study, right? So this is, I'm almost seeing this as sort of that greater journey, right? Of incarnating onto earth, right? We go looking for this experience, the wisdom, right? We come into the school, we receive that wisdom, and then we rise from the ashes as the phoenix. But there's also something else that wants to come through here. So give me a second to feel into this. Something that you've been crafting, some level of soul evolution that you've been working at for many lifetimes. It's like the completion of that journey, that energy. Ooh, I'm getting chills right now. Okay, yeah, this is the journey of the earths right now, right? Of the matrix and the false matrix. Right? We came here for that growth. We came here to learn, to experience ourselves through the lens of polarity, of duality, in this densest of dimensions. And we've been this student for many, many lifetimes, right? Many, many centuries, hundreds, thousands of Earth years. And now we've gained that wisdom. We understand. It's like the knowledge that we sought, the strength, the conviction. It's all coming together. And notice this is a lion, right? So that lion, that Lion's Gate energy coming through there. This is the initiation. This is the initiation we all incarnated into the false matrix for, right? And now we rise as the phoenix. And we raise this whole planet with us. This is the ultimate initiation. And so what is this lesson? What did we come here to learn? Is there any way that we can simplify this energy spirit into something bite-sized? Well, Spirit's saying it's everything. It's everything we've been talking about, right? It's discernment. It's our own power. It's the fact that we create this reality, right? It's like we're seeing through the mirror. We're learning how to actually look at what the mirror is reflecting, to truly see it for what it is, and to move beyond. It's like we're exiting the hall of mirrors. Whew. That's powerful. Yeah, get the moon. Exiting the illusion. This is that the next decade is going to bring. Not even, right? 2026 to 2034 is 8 years. That sounds like a long time, but really it's not. If you think about how many years you've been on this planet, most of the people who follow this channel are not in their 20s. You know what I mean? We're heavily 30, 35 plus here. All right. This is the audience. This is the tribe. We got a few youngsters on here, but 8 years is nothing. All right. It's nothing. And that's just to the ultimate, what I feel is that ultimate finish. We could say finish line. Nothing's ever finished, right? But to where it is that we're going, and the next lessons and evolution that we're going to learn there. All right. But we're going to be well along that journey. Like we said, it's stages. So we're entering the beginning of that final, what I'm going to call the final 8-year ascension window. Ascension to the next level of consciousness, 5D, 6D, whatever you want to call it. And yeah. It's not going to feel, I really, truly do not believe that it's not going to feel the way this last 8 years has. I hope. Because it's had its moments, right? Both good, bad, and ugly. But yeah. But it's think about the amount of density we've had to release to even get to the place where we are right now. The level of density that you've had to release if you are still present in this live stream. Okay? If you're present in this frequency of energy, it's a lot of density. Yeah, sure, we still got plenty, but a lot of us at this point, we've released a decent amount of it. All right, a decent enough amount of it that we're ready to move into this final ascension window here. Right? So just think about it like we've been running a marathon. All right? Or walking a marathon, right? We're getting toward that finish line. We have been running a marathon. We'll go with that analogy. Now we're close to the finish line. We realize it's not a race, and we get to walk ourselves across that finish line. And that's what it's going to feel like over these last few years. It's actually, for those who really fully surrender into this energy and release attachment, it's going to feel more like floating across the finish line. There's going to be some heavy moments, but overall, if we allow it to be, this can be really beautiful. So what are the number one things that are going to stand in the way of us being able to float over that finish line? Attachment. I mean, obviously, intense negativity, right? We're not even going to be in this race, right? We're going to be walking the other way if we're in a place of intense negativity. And what I mean by intense negativity is judgment, looking down on people, hatred, cruelty, true cruelty. You know what I mean? Just an addiction to misery that will not relent. That's the energy that will have us moving in that direction. All right. Just the regular ups and downs of emotion of being human, that's normal. Okay, we're still going to experience those. But we're not going to be attached or addicted to the misery. Right? We're going to keep moving forward. We're going to find something to smile about. We're going to let life surprise us. Okay? We're going to do something to lighten our mood. We're going to remember what to be grateful for, and we're going to make it another day. All right. That's the difference of energy, right? If we stay attached to people who are in that frequency where they're just addicted to the misery, where they're judging, they're comparing, they're in that frequency. If we stay attached to those people, that will prevent us from moving forward. If we stay attached to the things that are not for us, not just the people, but the places, if our higher self, spirit, the universe is opening up pathways for us and we keep trying to walk backwards, obviously, we're not going to move forward. Otherwise, like you're on the path. All right? Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Or crawl, like Dennis says. However, there'll be those days. There'll be the days where we decide we're just going to lay right down and take a nap. That's fine. All right? Just point your head in that direction, not backwards. Yeah. So Dee says this current retrograde has me feeling very dense and a bit grumpy. Yeah, Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. I'll do that to you. It's, trust me, I get it. I get it. I was riding high last week. Some of this also has to do with like my hormonal cycles too. All the ladies on here especially will understand this. It's like I was at a great point of my cycle last week when we did the live stream. I felt great. Everything was just, and now like you let's just say I pulled it together to do this live stream, but it's been a rough couple days. You know what I mean? And that just is what it is. Like I said, we're not like every day. I'm very suspicious of people who are truly authentically happy all day, every day. You know what I mean? Not to say that they don't exist. You know what I mean? But we're human. We're moving through it. Mercury's, it's bringing up some feelings. It's bringing up some unconscious shit. You know what I mean? Mercury and Scorpio. Mercury likes to dive into the unconscious, right? He is the messenger. He is connected to the underworld. Scorpio is the underworld, all right? So there's a lot being dredged up there. We didn't do a live stream just on the Mercury retrograde, but you guys know what it's been like. You've been feeling it. Good news is it's over in a couple days. And then the shadow period, I think does it go until the full moon? That would be interesting. Let me get a little date here for everybody. Mercury retrograde shadow period. Let's see. Post-shadow period ends on the 16th of December. So just a few days before that new moon. All right, so this is where Mercury is retracing the degrees that he went during the retrograde to end where he began at 6 degrees of Sagittarius. So that's like the wrap up. But we've gotten through most of it right now. All right, but it's dredged up some stuff. Some wounds that wanted to be healed, some inner child stuff maybe. Some fears, some phobias, some areas where we might be obsessive, where it's helped us to explore those little wormholes inside our brain that most of the time we'd rather not look at. And hopefully we've uncovered some things, some truths. Once Mercury goes direct, we're able to sort through those truths better, right? Because we have both perspectives. The mind functions differently when Mercury's in retrograde than it does when Mercury's direct. And it depends on your chart too. If you have Mercury naturally retrograde in your chart, you're going to experience Mercury retrogrades a little bit differently. They might feel a bit more comfortable for you actually because you function more in that non-linear mental space. Well, those of us who have Mercury direct, we're used to functioning in the more linear mental space. So when we're into the non-linear mind, especially in a water sign, it can really throw us off. Everything feels heavier. It feels more emotional, right? Yeah, I couldn't remember exactly what day of December it was. You're saying 3i Atlas is closest to Earth on the 19th? Oh, that's perfect because that's the new moon, you guys. That new moon conjunct the galactic center. 3i Atlas, the closest to the Earth, I'm telling you. Blast off. That's that bifurcation point, the 19th through the 21st. That is the most intense. Those are going to be the most intense few days of the month of December. Yeah. So block those days off if you can. If you can take those days off and not have to work, not have to do anything, go ahead and do it. That's a message for me too, because I've been thinking about that and I keep procrastinating on it because I don't like taking time off necessarily unless I'm going on vacation. But it's going to be a big window there. All right. I think we're good. I think this sums up the energy pretty good for today. Yeah. Rise above it. Choose to vibrate higher. Leaps of faith. All the good stuff. A lot of us, we are going to have these invitations, if you will, to lower our frequency, to lower our vibration from people in our old reality, maybe. Because we can have people in our old reality that are still in our current reality. And what I mean by that is their vibration hasn't fully shifted them completely out of our reality. We're coexisting, but we're not on the same wavelength. So it's kind of like it doesn't quite fit. It doesn't quite mesh, but they're still there. And some of them are there. And part of the reason they're still there is to provide this sort of opportunity for us to rise above. Just like the outer chaos, right? All the headlines, all the news gives us that opportunity too, to rise above that frequency. Am I going to get pulled, sucked into this, or am I going to see beyond it, right? To exist beyond that frequency. So there's lots of little, they feel kind of like snares almost, but I'm seeing them more as like, what kind of plant is it or tree that has like the burrs? You guys know what I'm talking about. They're in the bushes some places. And I think even out in the desert, they have them like the burrs and they stick to your clothes and stuff. It's more just like that. Like it's not actually going to hold us back unless we let it. But it's almost like a weird training energy of like, how quickly can you regroup? How quickly can you flip things around? How quickly can you flip that energy back? How quickly can you switch that perspective? Do you know how to be the bigger person? Is something still triggering you? Okay, great. Let's look at that, right? Why is this still triggering you? What still needs to be healed so that we can really release this and let this go once and for all? What's that that's different? I was looking, Indigo, to see what we're specifically referring to there. What feels different? Like the situations and the way you're acting and reacting to them. Is that what is feeling different? Sorry, you guys, I got to get a piece of my gum here as we're closing. Yeah. So if anything, it's almost just like little reminders that are showing us how much we've grown. You know what I mean? We can look at them like that. Just like we said, it's all in how you look at things. It's all in how you look at things. Yeah. All right. Anybody else have anything to add? Any questions or anything like that before we go? I felt called to pull out my beautiful little moonstone. I've never seen one that's like this green color. It's like sea green. Old friends still having around. Yeah. It's like they're there, but they're not there. And you have the sense that some of them aren't going to be there much longer. But you don't really feel like you need to do anything about it. It's sort of like you get that sense that it's just going to take care of itself. And it will. And like we said, some are going to shift later and they may catch up, right? But we don't lag behind waiting for them. But we do hold them in their highest, and we hold that intention for them within our hearts. That they tap into that energy within themselves. Poon says, I hate intense days. Every day is an intense day inside my head. I don't know about all of you. Yeah. There's good intense and not so fun intense, right? So we just hope for the good intense days, and we brace ourselves for the ones that are maybe not so great intense. Right. Yeah, so Griffith, if you rewatch the live stream, we go over the timing. And that's basically what this whole live stream was about. So we talked about it in the beginning, how this is a major bifurcation point in December. So this upcoming month here. And then another major turning point around 2027, 2028. And then me feeling sort of like the final point of no return, if you will, in the best way possible in 2034. And I have the connection with the eclipses in 2027 and 2034. And I'm going to link that video actually in the description box. No, I'm going to link it in the comments for anyone who wants to check out the video that I did on those upcoming eclipses. And of course, I'm going to do more as we get closer. But those are massive, and I feel a big connection to those points. Absolutely. So 2026 is like we've merged onto that highway that represents that new timeline, and we're starting to build the momentum. And then 2027 is a big turning point in that energy. And then we move forward and we kind of acclimate and continue kind of gliding forward and building the frameworks and sort of continuing to merge into and embody that new consciousness, that new energy. And then I'm feeling like fully birthing that consciousness in 2034, if that makes sense. All right. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here with me. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.